Welcome to Credit Union Chatt Box, the official podcast of Chattanooga First Federal Credit Union. My name is Michael Crosa, and I'm here to learn more about personal finance and what makes this credit union special. In each episode, we'll chat with experts, members, and staff about money topics that matter most to you. Now, this is a judgment-free zone, so don't be shy about asking questions. Learning more about money is how we get ahead. All right, now let's dive in. Okay, welcome back to another episode of Credit Union Chatt Box. I'm here with Terry Stansel, president of Chattanooga First Federal Credit Union, and Susan Tate, one of her wonderful team members. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Hello.
Good. Glad to be here. Another great day to be in Chattanooga.
Great to be back.
Wonderful weather and glad to have you.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so in a previous episode, we talked about how credit unions are really good for helping people out with loans and buying some of these personal items and really taking care of the community and really thinking about things that way. So let's say that I was to just walk in the front door, you've never seen me before, and I really need to buy a car, but I need some funding to do so. What would that look like?
Well, first I'd welcome you to the credit union, and then we would do a membership application.
Okay, so a membership application, what does that look like?
That qualifies you to be a member in the credit union.
Okay.
We can give you access to a loan.
And so do I need to put on a show and get signatures from friends and get reference letters, or what? What is a membership?
No. It just you'll fill out a form.
Okay.
Which makes you become a member to our credit union.
Okay.
The membership application, it asks questions, and we are looking to see that you are qualified to join. And one of the 5 criteria, you live in Hamilton County, worship, attend school, or conduct business on a regular basis in Hamilton County. So you could live in North Georgia, you could live in North Alabama. Basically, our area is 150 miles radius of the credit union office.
So really, it seems like for membership, you're wanting to make sure that somebody is here. They're part of the Chattanooga community.
Yes.
In kind of a broad sense. Gotcha. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we do that. I come in, we look at the car together, we go over everything together. How does this auto loan work in the first place?
Well, when we look at the value, we want to make sure that you are not paying more than what the car is worth under the NADA value.
So you're helping me out there.
Yes. So we don't want you to pay $25,000 for a car that's only worth $20,000.
Gotcha.
And this car, you could be purchasing it from an individual, or you could be purchasing it from a dealership. Now, purchasing from an individual, we want to ensure that you will receive that title once the funds transfer to that seller. Mm-hmm. And we ask if the seller owes on that vehicle. And if that seller owes on the vehicle, we will make sure that they don't receive all of the funds, because we will ensure that that funds go to pay off what they owe to ensure that you will receive a title.
And so when you say title, that's the paperwork that says who owns the car, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that brings up a good point. So if I'm buying a car off Facebook Marketplace or something, there's a lot of ways that could go wrong.
Correct. And we will also do what's called Carfax. Carfax will tell the history of that vehicle. And
if any recalls or damage, it could be minor, moderate, or severe. And we make sure there's no salvage title or what they call a lemon title.
Lemon title,
which
sounds tasty.
Not very good.
Oh, okay.
So, and we've had that happen in the past, not often, but that's something you definitely want to watch out for.
We've also seen through the Carfax history report where a vehicle was rolled, the mileage was rolled back over 100,000 miles.
Oh.
And we have the recalls, the manufacturer recalls. There have been some serious recalls that could cause you be in a crash. And we do let our new member know, current member, about this recall, so that can be addressed before they purchase it.
That's awesome, actually. So if I was just walking in and wanted to get that money, I might have just been thinking like, oh, I'm here to get some money. But you guys are really providing a lot of service with that too.
Yes, and actually, so a State Farm insurance agent who has an account with us wanted to purchase a Hummer from a dealership that was going out of business. And that Hummer, actually, the Carfax history showed the mileage had been rolled back over 100,000 miles.
Gotcha. So this car had been driven a lot, but it looked like it hadn't been driven at all.
For the year and the make.
The history showed the mileage at 1 year, 3,000, and then the mileage went down to like 150,000. And that is illegal to roll back the mileage on a vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, so it's, I just imagined the thing going over, but somebody went in there and...
Oh, yeah, you have to do that. Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm not sure how they do that, but there is a way. Shady people.
That scene in Ferris Bueller where they try to put the car in reverse.
They roll that back, so you think you're buying a car that has 50,000 miles, and it might really actually have 250,000 miles on it.
So all the more reason to come to Chattanooga First Federal Credit.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. What are some of the main questions that people come in with about auto loans?
They usually want to know how long term can they go.
And interest rate, which nowadays, as we know, a lot of the rates are higher. So that's one of the first questions they want to know, what would be my rate?
Yeah.
And understandable.
Totally.
And the term.
You said how long can we go, like how...
5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Yes.
Gotcha. So can you break down how an interest rate works?
Our interest loan rates are based on the term of the loan and the credit score of the applicant.
Okay. So a rate is going to be a percentage, right? And then that's the amount I have to pay, like what's left
for the term,
plus that interest every month for however long that is.
Correct. Principal plus interest.
Principal. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's, of course you would have the terms. So principal being how much the car costs, interest being how much
the cost of that credit is to you.
Okay. And then there's amortization.
So the loan is amortized. All of our rates are fixed rates. When the loan's amortized, it will show where you are paying more interest up front because the unpaid principal balance is more. And as the unpaid principal balance decreases, the interest each month decreases. Now, at a credit union, that is how interest is calculated. It's calculated each month on the unpaid principal balance, where most finance companies will take the total interest, add it to the principal amount, and then take your payments off of that each month. You're only being charged interest on your loan at a credit union for the period that you have the loan. So if you pay it off early, you're not paying all that interest that you would have. And also there is not a prepayment penalty at a credit union.
Prepayment penalty, okay, wow. So amortization, am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's something that y'all don't do.
All loans are amortized.
Oh, okay.
All of them. It's just the way of showing month 1, 2, 10, 20. It's a printout that shows
okay.
This month, if you pay this, pay your regular scheduled payment. So the first month, after you pay your first payment, this is what your principal now is going to be, unpaid principal. 10th month, this is now your unpaid principal balance.
Okay, so amortization is just a printout then, or just like the chart?
Yeah, so you can say this loan is amortized at 10 years. This loan is amortized at 20 years.
So talking about the loan process, what kinds of things you want people to know about it, or what situations would be good for people to come in your door?
Well, we do ask that before you go car shopping, to get pre-approved.
Okay.
And we have several loan officers. We can meet with you in person, or we can email you an application.
Yeah.
And you get that back to us, and we'll pre-qualify you. You may be approved for a $30,000 car. You may be approved for a $75,000 car. Okay,
so at the beginning of the episode, we were talking about me just sort of walking in off the street and coming in and what that would look like. So in that example, I had already picked out the car and we talked about the service, but you're telling me that I can even come before I even go car shopping and go ahead and start working with you and get your expertise and your help and your guidance.
Yes, absolutely. And that way, if you're shopping at dealerships, you have your financing in place with us. That prevents you applying at a dealership and they sending your application out to 10 different lenders or more, and your credit
is hit each time.
Yes, they will pull all 10 different lenders will pull your credit.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm definitely coming in here then, so that way when I go to the dealership, I'm like rolling with my posse, right?
Yes, yes.
And I always tell anybody that's going to look at the dealership, do not let them pull your credit.
Okay.
That's the number one thing, because if they do, then without your knowledge, a lot of times like she said, it's going to be out there to 10 people. But a lot of people I have, they'll say, I didn't know that. Yeah. So I always say, do not let them pull your credit. Tell them you're going through your credit union.
Do not even sign an application.
Right.
That's good advice. Good advice. So, okay, so if somebody is out there, they're ready to buy a car, they're ready to start car shopping, they want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to reach out?
Just call us at 423-267-7621.
Right on. Cool. Yeah. We'll put that phone number in the show notes, as well as your website and any other contact information. So, well, cool. Terry and Susan, thanks so much.
Well, thank you.
Coming.
Thank you.
That's all for this episode of Credit Union Chatt Box. To learn more, contact the fine folks at Chattanooga First Federal Credit Union at chatfirst.org, linked in the show notes below. That's chat with 2 T's, chatfirst.org. This show is produced by Chattanooga Podcast Studios and is a member of the Podnooga Network. If you have any questions or topics for us to cover on the show, please send us an email at podnooga@gmail.com. Now, keep in mind, this show is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. Laws and policies change often, so always check with an expert before making decisions based on what you hear in our show. We'll be back soon with more personal finance insights on the next episode of Credit Union Chatt Box.